It is apocalyptic outside. I'm in Los Angeles, we've had fires and everything is yellow or orange, but here it's been yellow all day. I have felt like it's been dusk all day, so my meridian cycle, my internal clock is all messed up. I've been feeling like it's time to go to bed to start settling down all day long, but it's not time for that. It is time to talk to you about remembering your truth. I can't be the only one who feels guilty if I'm not productive every moment of every day. In 1930, the economist John Maynard Keynes, I think that's how you say it, predicted that in the 21st century, people are going to work 15-hour work days. That means 5-day weekends. A dream, right? Keynes wrote, "For the first time since his creation, man will be faced with his real permanent problem, how to occupy the leisure." In 1957, the New York Times predicted that because so many jobs were becoming automatic and because the work week was shortening, people are going to be not looking to work, but looking for leisure, for satisfaction, meaning, and fulfillment. What actually ended up happening though is even though the work might be less tedious and the work week actually did get shorter than it was 100 years ago, people are now defining their entire existence through their productivity. Our identity is linked to our career, our job, and our level of success. We identify ourselves with our careers and with workaholicism and hustle culture. And we define our success by how productive we've been in that day. I think it's really unfortunate to notice that we've forgotten, even during this time where, so many people have been working from home, we've forgotten what it feels like to not be productive and not be busy and not define ourselves by our work. And on top of all of that, this identification with our work and productivity, we have this desire to have increasingly high levels of efficiency that is making people sick and miserable. Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Leeor Alexandra. Welcome to the Baby Elephant community. On this channel we talk about the law of attraction, spirituality, self-development, and so much more. And today I guess I'm doing a rant about not wanting to be this machine AI type cyborg thing. Before we get into the video, Past Leeor has a message for you. Before we get started with today's video, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor today, Audible, one of my absolute favorites, an app that I use every single day. You know this if you follow me on any of my other social media. I'm a longtime Audible member, still have a membership, I pay for it monthly. And as a member each month, what you get is 1 credit to pick a new title and 2 Audible originals. Audible has all the best self-development and spirituality books. It's so valuable for my own journey, and I know that it would be for yours as well. You also get access to news digests if that's your thing, and guided meditation programs, which I love on Audible. I listen to audiobooks all the time. It is the best way for me to consume positive and empowering and expanding content. Like for example, right now, I'm listening to Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love for like the 3rd time, because once you get one audiobook, even if you cancel your membership, you get to keep it forever, which is really cool. I always recommend different books that I'm listening to on my Instagram, so you can follow me on there, and I always post them on my story. I listen to audiobooks while I'm doing my 10,000 steps a day. I listen to them while I'm doing dishes, while I'm cleaning the house, while I'm commuting, while I'm driving anywhere. I especially like it in the morning on my way to the gym. And if you want to check out A Return to Love or any of the other books that I've mentioned in my previous videos, you can get that for free right now if you haven't signed up for Audible yet. All you have to do is go to audible.com/Leeor or text Leeor to 500. You get a free 30-day trial, a free audiobook to choose. I recommend A Return to Love. It is so good. Let me know if you liked it. And again, that's audible.com/Leeor or text Leeor to 500. I'll put that in the description below too. Thank you, Audible, for sponsoring. Thank you, Past Leeor. Your hair looks cute. So today's video is just as much a message for myself as it is for you. I keep burning myself out. My process is not sustainable. And it comes from constantly comparing myself to other people. And why is that? Because social media. Because I am not taking my own advice and I am comparing myself. I'm comparing my behind the scenes to everybody else's highlight reel. And I know I'm not alone in doing this. We're all driving ourselves crazy, trying to become yogi, author, pianists who run 3 companies and speak 5 languages, who are in a great relationship, on the way to get married, 2 kids on the way, whatever, before 2021, or whatever your version of that is. For some reason, I decided that I need to buy a house and publish a book before I was 28. Okay, I know how ridiculous that sounds, but we all have these things. Like, I know a lot of girls who are like, before 28, I want to be married. Before 30, I want 2 kids. I know a lot of men, in my life at least, that wanted to be millionaires by the time they're 30. And then 30 came around and they weren't millionaires. And they're like, well, I'm super successful, but I feel like I didn't reach this goal of mine. And now I feel like I'm a waste. And of course, I know some men who wanted to be married by 25 too. I'm just thinking off the top of my head some real world examples from my actual friend group. First of all, what is time? Time is an illusion, right? Time, we're feeling like things are linear and chronological, but that's not actually the case. What time is nature's way of making sure that everything doesn't happen at once, so that we can experience humanity and the human experience moment by moment. But we're not doing that because we're constantly thinking about the future, constantly living in the next thing that we have to do. What's the next thing I have to do? What's the next thing that I have to do? This illusion that we fall and pray for, and that we've been indoctrinated, programmed, and socialized to believe is our end all be all. Time is a limited resource, racing against the clock. That's all because if we're busy checking the time, if we're always checking the time, if we're always rushing against ourselves and against others, we don't have the time to be present. We don't have the time to remember our power, remember who we are. So many people say that they don't have time to meditate. They don't have time to take care of themselves because they have to survive. They can't thrive. They're busy surviving. And that's not how we're supposed to live. Our birthright is to enjoy this experience, to be present moment by moment. And the irony is, if we did live in the present and we did live mindfully, we'd probably get a lot more done and be a lot more productive than we are when we're just chasing and constantly racing against the clock. Maybe if we took that pressure off of ourselves, we'd be getting to these places that we desire. I have plenty of time to buy a house and to publish a book. I'm still a kid, and I'm still gonna be a kid till I'm 60 because people are living really hella late these days. And I'm probably gonna live until 180, and probably so are you. I have 14-year-olds in my DMs, in my direct messages on the Instagram, telling me that they have anxiety because they don't know what their life purpose is. Your purpose is to have fun with your friends, to have crushes, to read books, to play in nature, and to try to keep up with public school on Zoom. That's your purpose right now. That's all you need to do. Please don't let society ruin you this young. Don't let society make you feel like you're not doing enough already. Save that for 18. I'm kidding. Please just don't feel that way at all. Let's just break out of this. That's my message for this video. We have this fixation in society with productivity. We are obsessed with being productive. If you're not being productive, you're wasteful to society, and we might as well push you off a hill. Where does this come from? Indoctrination, socialization, and programming. It comes from the ones who benefit from the rat race, the ones who are reaping all the profits, right, at the top, the people at the way, way top who get to decide how society operates. However, it's perpetuated by us. It's us. So in the beginning, yes, we agreed to the terms and conditions without reading them, but now you're here and you're realizing this. You're realizing that you're obsessed with being productive and efficient and you don't give yourself a break. And now it's up to you to decide whether you're going to keep going with this narrative or create your own. This choker is actually choking me. So we are agreeing to it now consciously if we're continuing to do this, continuing to feed into this narrative once we know the truth. Everyone seems to be getting busier and busier, and they're posting it on Instagram to prove how busy they are, and they're making it look effortless and beautiful. And then they're also talking about how exhausted they are from doing a million things all week. And then you and I are sitting there on our couch in sweatpants, scrolling through their stories, and we're like, well, what do? What's the first thing we do? We judge ourselves. Should I be doing something productive right now? Like, I worked all day, I did my homework, I I finished this project that I had, I did this, I did that. Should I be doing more? Because this person seems to be working and it's midnight, right? So we judge ourselves. We say, what does this mean about us? Then we start to think, am I not doing enough? Am I not enough in general? Should I be doing more? Because this person seems to have it all figured out all together, forgetting that that is their highlight reel, and what we're seeing is a very curated version of what they want us to see, right? And now these thoughts become us, and we develop insecurity and low self-esteem, and on a subconscious level we feel like we're not even contributing enough to society, and therefore we aren't valuable. We feel like we have to do as much as other people are showing the world that they are doing. But imagine if we were taught as children that we are inherently valuable. That no matter what we score on a test or what we get in the spelling bee, if we win the spelling bee or if we win the soccer game, we're still worthy, we're still valuable. If we're not competing all the time, we're still valuable. And I know that some people are like, oh, I don't want my kid growing up, as this SJW PC character who gets a trophy for getting 5th place in the talent show. I get that. But also the system beforehand is what makes you have no self-esteem, Dad. Is what makes you have no self-esteem, Mom. So there has to be a balance between those things, right? There has to be a balance between an initiation for kids, an initiation for people, for children to become adults, to be like, oh, I've accomplished something. I like to accomplish something. And also knowing that even if it takes them a little bit longer than other people, because not everybody is the same, they're still valuable, they're still worthy, and building up their self-esteem in that way. So we don't want to be all the way on this side of the spectrum or this side of the spectrum, right? So we have fallen victim to the cult of efficiency, and though we may not have had much agency in getting recruited into it, we have to individually be the ones to break out of it. We have got to reinvent ourselves, reinvent the way that we spend our time. We have to find who we are outside of this need to be more productive, more efficient, to create more and more, to race against everybody else, to race against yourself. Actually, if there's somebody that you want to compete against, it should only be yourself to be better than you were the day before. But better than you were the day before doesn't mean doing so much more, being so much more. It just means, well, what could you have done better today? So every night I have a journal where I reflect back onto the day, and it asks me, what could have made today better? And rather than thinking about the circumstances of my day that could have been better, I think about what I could have done as a person to have a better day. So I do little things like maybe have less caffeine, or go on social media less, be less mean to myself, things like that. Maybe do something kind for somebody else and focus more on other people than just myself, right? So it's a self-reflection thing. But it's really important that we start to become acquainted with ourselves in our quiet moments. So the worst thing about this cult of efficiency is that because of it, we now even feel guilty enjoying our downtime. We work all day long or all night long or whatever it is, all week long, and then we have one day off and we feel guilty about not doing anything on that day. In the moments when we are alone or when we're with a friend, drinking coffee, we must fully be there, fully engaged, not thinking about what we have to get done right after, what we did a minute ago, just being there in the present moment. Walk your dog with presence. Be with your child or your mother or your brother or sister or grandmother, grandfather, friend, cousin, whatever it is. Be with them with presence. Be fully engaged. Be there. This is how you start to practice mindfulness. When we earn money and we get that paycheck, we can't think, well, how can I make more? Rather, we have to think, wow, I did really well. I did my best. I worked so hard. I get to enjoy this now. It's my birthright to enjoy this. And then more money will come that way. More money won't come from saying, how can I make more of this? It's going to come from the appreciation, from the gratitude. And when we're done with work, we have to put work aside completely and allow a different part of ourselves to take the lead. So when most people were working 9-to-5 jobs outside of the home, this was easier to do for sure. But now that so many more of us have flexible schedules, instead of being more free, we're more wrapped up and more concerned about work and the safety of our jobs and career, responsibility, blah, blah, blah. even in our off times. But we did not come here just to work and just to think about work and just to be efficient and to learn all the languages and read all the books and do all the things. We came here to enjoy what we like to do, even if it's one thing a day, and to live a good life. We came here to live more simply and experience whatever comes at us, right? So if you want to experience this cult of efficiency, this race against time, this need to hustle, ambition, build this empire before I'm 21 and a half, that's fine. That's what you choose to do. But again, that's a choice, and that's your choice. If we define ourselves and our short lifetime by our efficiency, we've lost the plot to this game completely. Because you can't take your efficiency with you. You can't take all those work hours with you. You can't take all the contents you've put out with you. You won't get credit for all the hours you've worked extra hard in your next life. What you will enjoy looking back on is all those little moments of presence, moments of meaningful connection, of true mindfulness, moments of doing something for yourself that's just for you and not for anybody else, that you get nothing from doing it except enjoyment. We must transcend this age of Pisces, wounded masculine mentality of competition, of being better than everyone else, of doing more than anyone else. We glamorize this until we burn ourselves out. And now we're just a society of burnt out people who can't do anything for themselves. Who's going to be there to take care of us if not us? We must be the ones to take care of ourselves. We have to make conscious and mindful decisions and choose to live slower, to stop comparing ourselves to other people, and to take less things on our plate. If we all chose to do this, if we all decided to be easier on ourselves, society eventually would have to rewrite itself to work around us. And there is no better time to rethink the way society is set up than right now. Give yourself permission to break out of the matrix, to stop doing what everybody else is doing and to do it your way. I choose to stop glamorizing being busy all the time. I choose to live the way I please and to remember that there's so much time still. I choose to remember this: I do enough. I have enough. I am enough. I hope that resonated. If it did, please leave this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. Give me an affirmation in the comments below. Let's affirm our way into feeling our very best, into being easier on ourselves because we deserve it. Until next time, as always, keep your vibrations way, way, way up.